You ever notice how sometimes a man doesn't even realize how deep he's fallen for you? He'll say things, he'll do things, not even fully aware that his heart is showing its cards. Love has a way of sneaking up on us, especially men who thought they could keep their guard up. But if you pay attention, you'll see the signs. And those signs don't lie. Today, I want to show you the quiet, powerful ways he's more in love with you than even he knows. When a man is more in love with you than he even realizes, the very first place it starts to show isn't always in what he says, but in what he does. Words are easy to throw around. People can say, "I love you," without ever living it out. But when love sneaks up on him and begins to grip his heart, it leaks out through his actions, often before he's even aware of it himself. He'll catch himself doing things he never thought twice about before, staying up late to help you with something even though he's exhausted, driving across town just because you mentioned you liked a certain food, checking in on you not because he's obligated, but because something inside of him needs to know you're okay. It's in those small, consistent patterns where his love is speaking louder than his own voice. See, love doesn't just announce itself with fireworks or grand gestures. Most of the time, it reveals itself in the ordinary, everyday moments. It's him choosing you over convenience, him prioritizing your needs, even when no one's watching, him putting your happiness into the equation without being asked. And the interesting thing is, he doesn't even always understand why. He'll brush it off, telling himself he's just being thoughtful or that it's just part of being with someone. But deep down, it's something bigger moving him. His heart is making decisions before his head can explain them. That's when you know love is working behind the scenes. Think about it. When a man's actions start to consistently lean toward you, when he keeps showing up even when it costs him something, that's love. Because it's easy to be there when it's fun, when it's light, when it's convenient. But when he rearranges his day, when he sacrifices comfort, when he chooses your well-being over his own convenience, that's not just affection. That's not just liking you. That's love expressing itself in the only way it knows how, through action. And it's not about perfection. No one gets it right every single time. But what you'll notice is a pattern forming. He'll care about the details of your life, the things most people would forget. He'll remember that you had a tough meeting, and he'll ask how it went. He'll know your favorite snack and pick it up without you asking. He'll notice when you're quiet, when something's off, and he won't just ignore it. Even if he doesn't have the perfect words, his actions will show he's paying attention. Because when a man is more in love than he realizes, your world matters to him almost as much as his own. And here's the powerful part: these actions aren't always grand. They don't always look like flowers or gifts or sweeping declarations. More often, they look like consistency. They look like effort. They look like him being dependable in ways that other people may overlook, but you notice because it's not about what's easy for him. It's about what matters to you. That's the real language of love. When someone invests not just in the big highlights, but in the little, everyday things. And when you see a man doing that, when you see him showing up in ways he doesn't even stop to analyze, that's when you know his heart is already deeper into this than his mind has caught up to. So, when his actions begin to outpace his words, don't ignore it, don't downplay it, and don't let him minimize it. That's not casual. That's not accidental. That's love revealing itself before he's even ready to say it out loud. When a man is more in love with you than he even realizes, one of the clearest signs is the way he starts to protect your peace without even thinking about it. It's not something he plans out. It's not some conscious effort where he says, "I'm going to be her protector today." No, it comes naturally, almost instinctively. When his love for you runs deeper than he knows, his first response is to guard your heart, your mind, your happiness, because suddenly your well-being matters to him on a level he can't quite explain. He notices when you're overwhelmed, and without making a big scene, he steps in to lighten your load. He picks up responsibilities, he shields you from unnecessary stress, and he looks for ways to make life a little easier for you, not because he feels obligated, but because he genuinely wants you to have peace. He may not even label it as love in his mind, but that's exactly what it is, love in motion. And this protection isn't just about the physical sense, although that's there too. It's about the emotional and mental safety he creates. He becomes mindful of his tone, careful with his words, because deep inside he knows he doesn't want to be another source of hurt for you. He watches the way people treat you in steps, and when something doesn't sit right, he pays attention to the kind of energy that surrounds you, and if he can, he'll move things out of the way that disturb your peace. This isn't about control, it's about care. It's about a man whose heart is connected to yours so much that your peace has become his priority. Think about how powerful that is. A man may not even realize how much he's fallen, but his instincts give him away. He becomes the one who double checks to make sure you made it home safe, the one who drives a little slower when you're in the car, the one who listens a little closer when your voice sounds tired. He's not doing these things for recognition. He's not expecting applause. He's doing them because somewhere deep down, your comfort, your safety, your peace, they've become tied to his own sense of love. And here's the thing, men don't always have the words for this. Sometimes they won't say, "I want to protect you," because it might sound too heavy or too vulnerable for them to admit. But you'll see it in the way they carry themselves around you. You'll see it in the way they check on you, in the way they anticipate what might bother you and take steps to prevent it. Those quiet moves, that's love speaking in its purest form. What's beautiful about this is that it's not forced. A man who's in love deeper than he knows doesn't wake up and say, "Today, I'll act protective." No, it just happens. He feels drawn to make your life smoother, to guard you from pain, to give you space to breathe. And that doesn't come from liking someone, it comes from loving them more than you realize. So when you notice him stepping in to ease your burdens, when you notice him becoming a shield between you and the chaos of the world, understand that's not just kindness. That's not just being a good guy. That's his heart showing you where it truly stands, even before his mind has caught up to it. One of the clearest signs that a man is more in love with you than he even knows is the way he starts investing in your growth. And this isn't the kind of surface-level encouragement where someone says, "Yeah, go for it," without ever really meaning it. No, this is different. This is when your dreams start to matter to him almost as much as his own. He finds himself celebrating your wins like they're his victories, pushing you when you doubt yourself, and reminding you of your strength when you can't seem to see it. That's not casual interest. That's love showing up in ways he hasn't even recognized yet. A man who's falling deeper than he realizes becomes your quiet motivator. He may not always know how to say the right words, but he'll show you through his actions that he believes in what you're capable of. He'll listen when you talk about your goals, even the ones that feel far away, and instead of dismissing them, he'll lean in. He'll ask questions he'll want to understand, because suddenly your vision matters to him. And without even noticing, he's tying his happiness to your progress. When you succeed, he feels lighter. When you're discouraged, he feels the weight too. And the thing is, most men don't even recognize that shift when it happens. They'll think they're just being supportive, but what's actually happening is much deeper. He's aligning himself with your growth, connecting his sense of love with your evolution. That's why he'll push you, not in a critical way, not in a way that makes you feel less, but in a way that lifts you up. He'll remind you of who you are when you start to forget. He'll nudge you to take the step you're hesitant to take. He'll see your potential and refuse to let you shrink back from it. Because when he loves you more than he knows, your growth becomes his mission too. And it's not just about the big dreams either. It's about the small, everyday things. Maybe it's him encouraging you to rest when you're overworking yourself. Maybe it's him telling you how proud he is of the little milestones you accomplish that others overlook. Maybe it's him standing beside you, cheering for you in rooms where your name comes up. He doesn't just want to see you survive. He wants to see you thrive. And that instinct doesn't come from convenience. It comes from love. Sometimes he won't even notice how much he's investing in you until later. He won't realize how often he's putting your needs on the same level as his, or how much he lights up when you grow into the person you're becoming. But if you step back and pay attention, you'll see it clear as day. The way he's tuned in, the way he supports without hesitation, the way he believes in you when you've stopped believing in yourself. That's not just interest. That's not just partnership. That's love that has quietly taken root in his heart. So when you see a man cheering you on, when you see him standing in your corner, pushing you forward and celebrating your every step, understand what that really means. That's not random. That's not accidental. That's love revealing itself in the way he's chosen to build with you, not just for you. One of the most undeniable signs that a man is more in love with you than he realizes is how deeply his mood becomes tied to your presence. At first, he may not even notice it. He might just know that when you're around, things feel lighter, and when you're not, something feels off. He can go through the motions of his day, handle his responsibilities, laugh at a few jokes, but deep down, he senses that something is missing. That's because you've quietly become the anchor to his emotional world. Think about how powerful that is. A man who thought he was in control of his emotions, who maybe even believed he could keep his heart guarded, suddenly finds that his happiness is influenced by you. Your smile has the ability to change the entire rhythm of his day. When you walk into the room, the atmosphere shifts for him. He might not admit it out loud, because men don't always have the words for things like this, but he feels it. He feels calmer, more alive, more centered just by being near you. That's love doing its work in the background, long before his mind has caught up to it. And it's not only about the highs. He notices your lows too. If you're upset, his mood dips with you. If you're carrying something heavy, he feels the weight right alongside you. He may not always know how to fix it or what to say, but he'll carry that energy in his chest because, whether he knows it or not, your heart and his heart have started to beat in rhythm. That's not casual attachment. That's not just liking someone. That's a bond that love has created, one that he didn't even see forming until it was already there. What makes this so real is that it's not something he can control. He can try to brush it off, he can try to distract himself, but the truth is, you've become part of his emotional landscape. Your laughter feels like home, your silence makes him restless, your absence feels heavier than he expected. And all of that points to one truth. He's more in love with you than he even knows. Pay attention to how he responds when you're not around. Does he check in more often than he used to? Does he mention missing you in small ways without even realizing what he's admitting? Those aren't just habits. Those are the markers of a man whose emotions have intertwined with yours. He may think he's just being thoughtful, but in reality, his heart is showing him that life doesn't feel the same without you in it. And here's the thing, when love ties itself this deeply to another person, it changes the way he moves through the world. He may not talk about it, but you'll notice it in the way he reacts to you, the way his energy shifts depending on where you are. You've become a steady source of joy, of peace, of stability. And even if he hasn't said it out loud, even if he hasn't fully admitted it to himself, that's love writing its truth across every part of him. So when his mood is lifted by your smile, when his peace is shaken by your pain, when his presence feels tethered to yours in ways he can't quite explain, don't dismiss that. That's not coincidence. That's not temporary. That's love speaking louder than words ever could. When a man is more in love with you than he realizes, one of the most telling signs is the way he begins to let his guard down with you. For a lot of men, Walls aren't built overnight. They're built over years of being told to stay strong, not show weakness, to carry burdens quietly and never let anyone see the cracks. Vulnerability is often seen as risk, and risk feels dangerous. But when love slips into his heart in ways he hasn't fully recognized, something changes. He finds himself opening up in ways that even surprise him. It might start small. Maybe he shares a story from his past that he doesn't usually tell. Maybe he lets you in on a fear he has about the future. Maybe he admits to struggling with something instead of pretending like everything is fine. These little cracks in the armor are huge signals. Because men don't just hand over vulnerability to anyone. It takes trust, it takes connection, and more than anything, it takes love working in places he can't control. You'll notice it in the moments when he doesn't feel the need to perform. Around you, he doesn't always have to be the strong one, the confident one, the guy who has it all figured out. He allows himself to just be. That sigh of relief when he sits next to you, that unfiltered honesty when he tells you what's on his mind, those aren't accidents. That's his heart telling him he's safe with you, even before his mind has processed how deeply he feels. And here's the truth: vulnerability is one of the purest signs of love, because it means he's willing to hand you the parts of himself that no one else gets to see. He might not call it love. He might not even recognize it as that, but it's happening every time he lets you into his fears, his insecurities, his struggles, his dreams. Every time he lowers the walls that he's kept so carefully guarded. What he's really saying, without saying it, is that you matter to him more than he ever expected. Sometimes it will come through in the way he seeks comfort in you. Maybe he'll reach out when he's had a tough day, not because he wants solutions, but because your presence feels like relief. Maybe he'll admit he's scared about something he doesn't tell his friends or his family. That's when you know you've crossed from being just someone he cares about to being someone his heart leans on. And when a man lets you see that side of him, it's not just affection. It's love, deeper than he knows how to explain. What's so powerful about this is that it doesn't just happen once. The more he realizes he can be himself with you, the more those walls come down. And every time they do, his connection to you grows stronger. He may not even see it, but with every honest word, every raw truth, every moment of openness, he's giving you pieces of himself he doesn't hand to anyone else. So when you notice him letting you in, when you see him lowering those defenses and handing you the fragile parts of who he is, understand this: that's not weakness. That's not casual trust. That's love showing itself in the most vulnerable way possible. One of the clearest signs that a man is more in love with you than he realizes is when you start showing up in his future without him even planning it. He might not sit down and consciously decide, I'm going to build my life with her. But listen closely to the way he talks. Pay attention to the way he frames his decisions, and you'll hear it. Suddenly it's not just me, it's we. It's not just my plans, it's our plans. And it's not forced, it just slips out naturally, because deep down, love has already started writing you into the next chapters of his life. At first, he may not notice it himself. He might casually say things like, we should go there next summer, or that's something we'll have to try. It doesn't sound like much on the surface, but think about what it means. Without even realizing it, his heart has placed you in his tomorrows. You've become part of the vision he's building, not because he sat down and mapped it out, but because love has made you part of the picture by default. And this isn't just about the big, obvious stuff like marriage or buying a house someday. It's in the little things too. When he's grocery shopping and picks up something because he knows you'll want it later, that's him thinking about the future. When he hears about a concert or an event months away and immediately includes you in the plan, that's love showing up in real time. When he considers a career move or a big decision and instinctively weighs how it will affect you both, that's not just thoughtfulness. That's his heart admitting he can't picture the road ahead without you walking it with him. The truth is, men often don't recognize this shift when it happens. They'll think they're just being considerate or just including you because it feels natural. But that's exactly the point. It is natural. When love runs deep, your presence becomes part of his life without him having to force it. You're not an addition he thinks about occasionally, you're woven into the fabric of his future. And here's the beautiful part: when you start appearing in his plans without him even catching it, it means he's moved past the stage of liking you in the moment. He's already anchoring himself to the thought of having you long term. He may not say those exact words, but his actions, his conversations, his plans, they're already speaking it for him. You'll notice he doesn't just talk about his goals in isolation anymore. He frames them in a way that includes you. He talks about traveling together, about where you might live someday, about building something side by side. And it won't feel like a big announcement. It'll just flow out of him, because in his heart, you're already there. That's when you know he's more in love with you than even he understands. Because a man doesn't start placing someone in his future unless his heart has already committed. So when you catch those little slips of we, when you notice yourself becoming part of his long-term vision without him even realizing it, understand this: that's love revealing itself in the most undeniable way.